Hi guys, welcome back to Harry Makes Up. Today I'm doing a really lovely collaboration with wonderful Sharon the makeup artist, aka Sharon Farrell. I've been a big fan of hers for a long time, so I'm really excited to be collaborating with her. And we decided we would do a look inspired by kind of recreating our favourite fashion or beauty campaign or perfume campaign. So I'm going to do the Keira Knightley Chanel Mademoiselle campaign for Chanel, which I love. I just think it's so timeless. It's gorgeous for a night out or a special occasion, and it's one of those things that kind of the tones suit everybody. It can be adapted to suit your skin tone and your eye colour, etc. And it's a really wearable look. And I will also put a link of the video that Sharon did as well, so make sure you go and check out that over on her channel to see what look she created. So first thing I'm going to start with is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, just because I think it's an oldie but a goodie, so I'm going to use a bit of that. I think from looking at the campaign with Keira, it's not super sheeny, it's not overly dewy or matte, it's kind of like a nice satin finish, so I think this one will work really, really well for that. So I'm just going to go in the centre of my face and then work my way outwards. So I'm using a Sigma Duo Fibre powder brush, which I actually really like for foundation. So the first thing I'm going to do is give myself a set of Keira eyebrows. So I think for that I'm going to use a couple of products. She has quite a thick full brow in the Chanel campaign, so I've actually been really enjoying the Soap & Glory Archery pencil at the minute, but actually in Blondshell, the lighter one. So I'm just going to start kind of pushing my brows up first, and then I'm just going to go in and do a kind of all over fill in, so to speak. So wherever there's gaps, and because I'm using a lighter colour, it's easier to make my brow a bit larger. So I'm kind of using the arch as my marking point, just to make sure both sides are equal to the arch. And I'm working more on top of the brow rather than under, because I don't want to close the eye up. And then I'm going to take a bit of the So Cute eye pen, and I'm just going to darken up a couple of hairs. But again, this will still keep it quite fine and not let it get too blocky. So I'm just going through, and this just helps build texture in the brow as well. And then to finish my brows, I'm going to use a bit of Benefit Speed Brow, which is like a brow setting gel. I'm just going to wipe a bit of the excess product off first, because I always find there's a little bit too much on these kind of mascara ones. And I'm just going to use that to kind of brush through the brows and just set them into place. And I think with the Keira Knightley Chanel campaign, you can see her individual brow hairs, which I really like. So now moving on to eyes, I'm going to take another trusty favourite, which I use all the time in my pro kit, is Groundwork by MAC, which is kind of like a minky brownie, mushroomy. Again, it can look a bit different on everyone's shape, but I'm going to use this as my base for my eyes. So I'm just going to take something like a Zoeva Soft Definer, and I'm just going to swirl that round, and I'm going to apply that to the top part of my eye, kind of to the socket and a little bit into it, so I've got room to blend out. And from the crease outwards, just let it smoke out a little bit, so it's like a soft in-between shade. And using a pencil brush, I'm also going to take a little bit of that under the eye as well. And I'm going to take it a little bit further down than what I normally would, so it creates like a nice shadow under the eye. So next, I just want to take kind of a corky shade. I'm actually going to use my bronzer that I'm going to use in a bit. This is Nars Laguna, and I'm going to take on that same soft blending brush a little bit through the crease of my eye, just to add a little bit of warmth, and it's a little bit more, yeah, a bit more chestnutty, I guess I'd say. But this is just going to warm up the socket a little bit. And then it wouldn't be a Chanel campaign makeup tutorial without a bit of Chanel. So I'm going to use the Chanel Quad in Tisse Vendome, which looks like that, which has kind of some warm browns, some pinks, and some nice kind of gold tone shades. So I'm going to use this darker colour first, and I'm going to run that along the lash line top and bottom. And I'm just using a kind of angle brush for that. So I'm just going to take that and blend it into the eyeshadow. And I'm going all the way along. And then when I get to the outer corner, I'm just thickening up a little bit, and then I'm going to smoke that out. And I've just got a diffuse crease here by Sigma, so I'm just going to keep blending that in as I go, so there's no kind of harsh line. And imagine you're going a little bit higher than what you would with eyeliner. I'm also going to take a little bit of that under the eye, just to start to darken the lower lash line as well. With Keira's eye makeup, it does go all the way to the inner corner. So that's what we're going to do too. And I'm just keeping like a soft shadow impression at the minute. So taking the Benefit They're Real, I'm then going to map out a little kick on the outer corner. And I'm going to make this so it comes a little bit down under the eye as well. But I still want to keep it quite smudgy and soft, and we're going to smudge it up more afterwards. But I just want to get the kick. Because with Keira's eye, it wasn't really like a flick shape, it just kind of was all very fluid and blended. So we need to get the depth at the lash line now. So I'm going to take this from the inner corner all the way to the top and match up to my flick. So I'm about past halfway now, and I'm just keeping it very round and soft. And now you can see where our blending underneath makes the whole thing look softer. And I'm just making sure that's really well coated. And I'm going to flick it out a little bit, but I'm keeping it quite thick on the outer corner. I'm going to take a bit of matte coffee pencil and I'm going to run that underneath the top waterline, just so there's no skin on show. And then take that same palette into the lower waterline as well. So by now, hopefully you can see the eyes are starting to take shape. They're looking nice and feline, but what I want to do is still add almost like a slight wet look to the look, because I think with Keira it looked almost like that little bit, not shimmery, but a little bit of kind of two-tone. So I'm going to use a By Terry stick. This is in Brown Perfection. You can get much cheaper versions of these. Kiko do really, really good ones. So do Rimmel, so you can always get a cheaper option if you prefer. And now I'm going to run this over the line we just did on the bottom. Like I said, it starts to give it almost that wet look. And again, this is about keeping it soft and blended. So I'm taking it that little bit further down and I'm going over, and it now makes the brown look that little bit more kind of wet look. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that again onto the liner on top, just so there's a bit of kind of two-tone. And it's just going to make that liner look that little bit wetter. And back in with a pencil brush again and just blend, blend, blend. And then we want to give your lashes a good curl. And then I'm going to take a bit of the ShowGirl mascara, the volumizing one by Barry M, and I'm going to apply mascara top and bottom. So for eyelashes, I've put some mascara top and bottom, and I actually decided to go with individuals in the end. I'm using some Ardell Knot Free short and medium lashes. You could do a strip, but I think looking at Keira's eyes, it was kind of more about the liner and the kind of chocolatey browns. So I'm just going to go in with some short and some medium, and I'm going to concentrate more on the corners, but definitely just thicken up my lashes a little bit. And I'm just going to drop them onto my own eyelashes. So I've done about 4 short on each side. I'm now going to do some medium ones. Just on the outer corner now, just to give a little bit of length. So while you leave the eyelashes to dry, it's time to do the skin, which is always my favourite bit. So I'm going to do some Clarins Instant Light Concealer. I'm using the shade 01, and I'm going to use a Real Technique setting brush for this. And this gives the eyelashes, like I say, time to dry. Oh, found another eyelash there. And I just like to take it from the tube onto the brush, and then I pat, kind of starting here, and then just work my way outwards a little bit. And I like to use that as well for any redness left in my skin. So still keeping it, I find this concealer has a really nice natural finish, but you can just see now how the makeup really starts to pop and come to life. And then just take your smudger brush from earlier and just run it underneath your bottom liner, just to make sure that stays nice and smoky. And then you can go back and put another coat of mascara top and bottom. So again, you're blending in your falsy lashes with your real ones as well. And I think the bottom lashes really pop when they've got 2 coats of mascara. I'm just going to blend the falsies and the real ones together. So you can see we've got a nice amount of lash on the corner, which just gives it that little bit more flutter. So now the eyes are looking nice and Chanelified, I'm going to take a cream blush first underneath, because again, Keira's skin was kind of bronzed, but there wasn't that much going on the cheek. It was all very kind of blended together. So I'm going to take a bit of the Liz Earl, this is their cream blush, and this is in the shade Nude, which is a really, really lovely, as the name would suggest, nude tone. So I'm just going to take that with my finger, and I'm just going to press that a little bit onto the cheeks, just so there's a little bit of colour, but I just want to keep it all really, really soft and tonal. Now I want to add some powder, because like I said, it was kind of a satin look, And for that, I'm going to take my Sigma. This is the tapered face brush, which I'm loving at the minute. I think this may be in my August favourites. And I'm going to take that just kind of on the under part of the eye. So sort of just here. And I'm going to sweep it over the cream blush as well, because I want that cream blush there as a little hint of colour, but also to make the makeup really long lasting. So you could very easily wear this makeup out and it will still be there at the end of the night. So it's good if you like makeup to be really long lasting. And for bronzer, I'm coming back to Nars Laguna bronzer, and I'm going to take this is my RMK cheek brush. And I do kind of want it to blend in, so I don't want it to be super contoured. I want it to kind of start on the contours, but then come up into the skin. So it does give that little bit of colour. Again, the look I would say was not super matte, but it did have more of a satin finish. So I think something like a bronzer, and again, you could adapt this to make it suit you or add a bit of blusher, but it just gives that little bit more life back to the skin. And with what's left on my foundation brush, I'm just going to go over my lips a little bit, just to pale them down. And then I'm going to use, I know I always use this one, guys, but it's because it's so universal. It is the Clinique Heaping Hazelnut Chubby Stick, and that's all I'm going to finish with. And so that is the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Let me know in the comments what tutorials you'd like to see next. Make sure you go and check out lovely Sharon's makeup tutorial as well, which there will be links, of course, below or somewhere on the screen. And I look forward to seeing you soon for more makeup tutorials. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.